What's behind the moves? Well, you guessed it, LSU opt-outs. That's something we talked about earlier, but if you take a look at this right now, some of you, you're not just going to be firing on college football over the next couple days. You're going to be firing on hockey. You're going to be firing on college hoops. And for that, NC State and Virginia coming up at the top of the hour right here on ESPN2. Jaden Taylor and the Wolfpack on our short road dogs today, We got a triple header that's also going to feature Wake Forest at Syracuse. The Demon Deacons, short favorites in that matchup, and Bobby Hurley's Arizona State Sun Devils make their Big 12 debut as they head to Provo as double-digit dogs. Coach Seth Greenberg,
What's going on?
Fantastic.
I can tell you one thing. I think of a Penn State guy. I don't think of you. No Penn State guy can pull off that shirt. I'm just saying.
The years I was there, it was the turtleneck look, if you remember that back in the day.
And a couple of jackets.
All right, Virginia laying 1.5 against NC State. Total 121.5, by far the lowest on the board for any college basketball game we've got today. Guide us through this one. Where should we be looking in this matchup?
Well, I'm looking at the under because both of these teams struggle to score. NC State, their ability to turn Virginia over. Virginia's turning the ball over. One league game, 26% of possessions. So like 350 in turnover percentage. That's going to be the difference in the game. I like NC State winning it. I do like the under. NC State will run Virginia off the three-point line, but NC State doesn't make threes. It's going to be a close basketball game. It's going to be a possession game. NC State at the end has more ways to score. I like the Pack.
Classic rock fight, the game there. I love it.
And there would be no crowd. I talked to some people that were going to go to the game. There's like no one at JPJ. That's not the home court advantage you need to play against NC State.
That's a really interesting angle because given kids being out, we saw what happened with the college football playoff games, but for these basketball games, do you think that's going to be a thing across the country?
Absolutely across the country. Students don't come back until probably next week. Unless you're on a roll like a Duke, people aren't showing up to this game.
From all of us at ESPN, Happy New Year. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. And on a final day of 2024, the Virginia Cavaliers are home at JPJ Arena to battle NC State as the ACC starts to get serious. Happy New Year, everybody. Great to have you along. I'm Dave O'Brien alongside ACC great Corey Alexander. Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year, my man.
You know, obviously a lot of things are brand new for Virginia these days. Brand new coach, brand new system in some respects for the Cavaliers, but they're adjusting to pressure defenses, and that's a big-time adjustment for them.
It's one of the things that Memphis discovered against the Cavaliers. They did not handle pressure very well. The trouble against the pressure is what cost them in a one-possession game here on December 18th, as you see Andrew Rohde in the trap against zone pressure, trying to throw across court because he doesn't see the guys trying to make themselves available, and then against the run and jump, guys don't make themselves available, forcing another turnover. And another example of that, as Tay Murray turns his back, now you see no one coming to the basketball, and tough pass trying to get that over an athletic defense. That's exactly what NC State will do today. They will come after the Hoos in full court.
Well, the Wolfpack, when they force turnovers, they win games. When they don't, it's been the reason for their 4 losses so far. We're set for the opening tip. Virginia coming in at 7-5, 0-1 in the conference. NC State at 8-4, 1-0 in the ACC, an overtime win over Florida State. NC State very tough to turn over, just 10 per game. That's number 1 in the conference, and we are underway as the Wolfpack takes the opening tip. And they have already faced a pretty challenging schedule following their stunning march to the Final Four. They faced Purdue, Kansas, Texas, and BYU. Corey, unfortunately, they've lost every one of those games.
Well, and they're one of the ACC teams that struggled in the non-conference. One of the many teams that are struggling in their conference, the ACC. And you see on the score immediately, you're going to see pressure from the Wolfpack. Right now, it's man-to-man pressure.
Now, the Virginia starting lineup without, right now, a couple of key guys. Up top, here's McNeely. Rohde will swing it. Here's Ames on the wing. He's brand new, Day-Day Ames. A 6'1" sophomore. Getting it underneath Kofi. The big fella will lay it up and in.
And the nice find, the high-low action, going inside to Kofi, who, when you think about this NC State team playing without Ben Middlebrooks here in the first half of this one, illness, we may not see him in this game, but definitely out for the first half of this one. Was struggling early today.
Let's put it this way, he did not keep breakfast down.
See, only you can put it so eloquently.
Styles, who got the first basket, handing off to Michael O'Connell, their star in the ACC tournament last year. The jumper off target by Jaden Taylor. NC State does not shoot the three well. Virginia's had a lot more success. They're at 38%. NC State in the low 30s.
And that allows Virginia to stay in the pack line defensively, not having to extend as much pressure on the outside when you have a team that doesn't shoot as well.
Nice job by Ames to keep that foot down to get the basket.
But more importantly for Ames to be able to get into the painted area and make a play for himself as he did on that one, or also to be able to kick out to one of his teammates, who Virginia, a very good shooting team when they get those opportunities.
Ames at 48% beyond that three-point line, so he's really deadly. The pass almost mishandled. Comes right to Marcus Hill. He's their top scorer at 13 a game. They really balance out the scoring, unlike a year ago when they made that incredible run to the Final Four. Shot clock is down to 4. Hill off the fake, gets the jumper in the air and sticks it right at the buzzer of the shot clock.
But Hill doesn't really want to shoot the three, is capable of making them, but much prefers to get into the painted area. A desperation bucket there, able to go down to tie it up at 4.
Now, one difference you're seeing here with Virginia is a little more urgency to score after they break the press.
That's absolutely going to be the case, and that's one of the things that Ron Sanchez says that they've really worked on since that Memphis loss, is when they do break pressure, attacking, not settling, forcing teams to have to come out of the pressure because they score against it.
Isaac McNeely with a little fall away, averaging 12 points a game. 6'4" junior, going to be a key man today, especially beyond that three-point line where he can really shoot it.
But showing that he can do more than shoot the three, going off the bounce and making plays will help McNeely and also free up his teammates.
Here's Hill, free to Taylor, and Taylor drops it in from three-point land.
Now, if there's one guy that they can depend upon to knock down a three, it is Jaden Taylor. He had hot during that stretch last year. We watched NC State find their way into the Final Four. He was one of their outside threats.
These noon games, you never know how teams are going to come out and shoot the basketball. Gratefully, they're shooting it well early. NC State 3 for 4. Virginia, to this point, was 3 for 3.
Good look for Rhodey, though, shooting over 44% from the three-point arc himself. Doesn't get many easy ones like that.
Huntley Hatfield into the game, starting for Middlebrooks, and drops in 2. Sweet shot by the 6'10" senior.
And Brandon Huntley Hatfield, of course, no stranger to playing against Virginia. Spent the last 2 seasons at Louisville. And a young man who's stepping in, started the first 5 games of the season for NC State in the post, and now back in the lineup with Middlebrooks out.
Wolfpack having trouble on the glass. He's their top rebounder at 5 a game. Just 5. Kofi trying to step to his left. Goes to the other side of the iron for 2.
The freshman is absolutely skilled, going to the opposite hand and using the rim as a deterrent so Huntley Hatfield can't get a hand up. The second bucket for Kofi in this.
At 6'10", and the guy can pass the ball too. The swing into the corner and the jumper won't fall by Styles. On the run, Saunders, yes!
But you see the pace. That's the difference. That's what Ron Sanchez is trying to get Virginia to be able to do. When you kick ahead, you have an opportunity. Take advantage of it. Don't pull it back out and try to run offense. Take advantage when you have an opportunity at the rim.
Yeah, Virginia 8 paint points already to 4 for the Wolfpack. Here's Hill working on Rhodey, the pull-up pop. And a little bit short. Rebound tap to the corner. And it will stay on this end. 14:55 to go here in the first half. Pretty good pace early on. Virginia up by 1. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Lexus December to Remember sales event. Offers on select models now through January 2nd. And by Walt Disney World Resort, the most magical place on earth. We're talking about December to remember.
Absolutely, and March to remember for the Wolfpack. Kevin Keats, we talked to him about it earlier. He said, can't we just go back to what was such a magical time? But you think about that run, you and I had the opportunity to call a couple of those games throughout that stretch, and the games at the end of the regular season going into the ACC tournament, where, of course, they won 5 games in 5 days.
Now, before the pack got to March, they had lost 14 games, but it was against Virginia, down 5 with 70 seconds to go in the ACC tournament semifinals, that Michael O'Connell hit that bank 3 to force overtime. NC State would win it They would win the tournament in Washington. They won 5 games in 5 days. They went on to beat Texas Tech, Oakland in overtime, Marquette in the Sweet 16, and Duke in the Elite 8. That magical run finally ending in that Final Four loss to Purdue.
And you think about just the run in itself. Well, of course, you got to think about the characters involved. You start with DJ Burns. Of course, everyone loved DJ Burns' ability to play out of the middle of the floor, pass the basketball extremely well, but was unstoppable on the block. But then DJ Horn, all the different players, and now you have so many new characters for this NC State team this year. However, it's a number of holdovers from that team, who, especially Michael O'Connell, who made 2 shots, not just the one, but 2 shots last season against Virginia to send the game into overtime.
Yeah, that's right. They played 3 times last year. 2 of them went OT. Virginia won 1 of them here, 59-52. McNeely up top here for the Cavaliers. NC State by a point early. McNeely trying to back into that paint. Little follow. He's tried that once already. He hit the first one, and a whistle. Tony Chazza with a whistle here with 14:24 to go in the first half. Ted Valentine and Clarence Armstrong, the other 2 officials. Dennis Parker Jr. with his first personal.
But that's an area where Virginia can absolutely exploit against NC State. Elijah Sanders and Blake Buchanan both with over 23 offensive rebounds on the season. They can crash the glass on the offensive end of the floor.
McNeely holding on to it too long. He's tied up on the play. Possession arrow will keep it here for Virginia. And Ron Sanchez, the interim head coach, named late on October 18 following the great Tony Bennett's retirement. He's been a head coach before at Charlotte, so nothing new there. He's been on Tony's staff for 10 years before taking over on an interim basis.
And a great person, as we see Saunders with the turnaround jumper, using his size. He's really come on as of late, scoring in double figures his last 3 games out, averaging over 15 points per game, becoming much more of an offensive force for Virginia. Of course, does the job defensively on the glass as well.
Huntley Hatfield with a miss inside. Now, last season, Virginia going on to the NCAA tournament. Would you say that that was the most controversial selection they've ever had?
I believe it was one of the most controversial selections of all time when you consider Oklahoma didn't get in and Virginia did. I believe what added the insult to the injury was the performance by Virginia in that first 4 games. It was a struggle for them to be able to score the basketball. But I personally felt as though Virginia deserved to be in. And again, the fact that the ACC got 5 teams in and it was a struggle to get 5 in, to me was a discredit to the last year. However, this year's been different for the ACC. So, I'm sure we'll talk more about that later. But we would be fortunate to be able to get 5 teams in this year.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic as Buchanan misses the first one and Huntley Hatfield goes to the bench because the ACC has gone so deep in the NCAA tournament going back to 2014. That one's going to find a lot of rim, but roll in for Buchanan.
And Obi, I've said forever that this conference prepares its teams for March better than any conference in the country, but a lot of that also had to do with the coaches and the style of play that allowed everyone to get just a taste of everything, so you're not surprised by anything when you get into March. Well, we don't necessarily have all those same coaches anymore. And I think that's what's affected the conference throughout this non-conference season.
Man, you could fill half a wing of the Hall of Fame of the ACC coaches who have left over the last few years. O'Connell with a long one, and it'll go down a 3-pointer.
And that's something that hasn't been the strong suit of the Wolfpack throughout this season. But you see, every score, you're going to find full-court pressure. Virginia done a pretty good job thus far handling the pressure.
NC State had not hit a field goal for 3 minutes. We've already had 6 lead changes in this one, so that's the early narrative here in Charlottesville this afternoon.
I'm not sure anyone would have had scoring at 14-13 in the first 7 minutes of this one.
I think you're exactly right. Well, coming up, Wake Forest and Syracuse at 2 o'clock, and then Arizona State and BYU to follow at 4 on ESPN2. And we start the day here with NC State and Virginia in the ACC. O'Connell into the corner. Pass will lift, and he can't hit. And Murray taking away the rebound. That is Tane Murray, the 6'5 senior from New Zealand. His parents are here today.
They're absolutely here. They came and spent about a month. Both his parents are educators, so they get the break off. But it's actually summer break in New Zealand right now, OB. The weather is a little different over there.
You're always teaching me something.
Now, you're the one that teaches me, my guy. You know how that goes.
Yet another stop for me. He's got to find a way to New Zealand. On the spin, Ames will fire it up and leave it short. O'Connell wants to pressure it here. Pass open again from the wing, and this one, nothing but net.
And Breon Pass shooting 57.1% from beyond the three-point arc. Missed one on the previous possession, but so much more confidence for him in this season with a much bigger role for the Wolfpack.
McNeely catches, fires, got a good look, but he missed it. Breon Pass, a 6'1" senior, percentage-wise, NC State's best three-point man. Once scored 50 in a high school game in North Carolina.
And that's not even the highest on his team. Got a teammate, Paul McNeil, who scored 71 in the high school game. But right now, the Wolfpack making it look easy against Virginia's defense. Out to a 6-point lead. 11-16 remaining as they continue to share the basketball. And we return. We'll talk about the state of the ACC, Obi. We've been around for a while. We've never seen it like this.
No, sir.
Ready, set, go.
ACC storylines as we look deeper into the season. Now, there's only one ranked team in the conference in the AP Top 25. Duke at number 4. Look at this, Corey. The conference 5-27 against the top 25.
And most in conference history has never seen the ACC in this state before. A lot of it having to do with Tony Bennett and now Coach Jim Larranaga both stepping away before 2025. But the thing about this conference for the last 10 years has had more representatives in the Elite Eight than any other conference in the country. And when you consider the fact that since 2014, Duke has won a national championship. Virginia's won a national championship. North Carolina's won a national championship. As we get an opportunity to see 2019 winner Tony Bennett in the suite, as his son Eli is a member of this Virginia team.
Murray down the lane, can't finish. The tip is up and good. TJ Power, the 6'9" sophomore, really barreling in.
And great to see TJ Power getting involved in action and coming up with plays, especially hustle plays, which will help him get his confidence back. Coming in with major expectations, transferring in from Duke.
Kofi with a bump foul there around midcourt. You've made this point for many years, and it's been right on the money. Come tournament time, NCAA tournament time, watch the ACC, and they go very deep, as we just showed you in the tournament. Now, the coaching changes mean the styles have changed.
The styles have absolutely changed. No longer do you see the zone in Syracuse with Jim Boeheim. No longer do you look forward to the style of play, the two bigs up front at North Carolina with Roy Williams on the sideline. Coach K being on the sideline alone is a style in itself.
Yes, it is.
So when you consider what you're used to seeing as we watch Breon Pass knock down another three, what you're used to seeing in the ACC is no longer, and this is going to take some time to readjust, but the 5-27 against top 25 teams, we've never seen that before.
No.
It's part of the reason why we would be fortunate to get 4 teams into the NCAA tournament.
So the ACC in past years has done a great job prepping their schools for the big tournament. Will that continue? That's the big question as we move into the early days of the ACC schedule this year. The swing here for Parker Jr., but he can't find the range. Whistle here, and that's going to go the other way. Ted Valentine jumping in there at 10:03 to go here in the first half. And back to that last possession by NC State.
When a guy comes in shooting 57.1%, you can't close out short on him. Dede Ames does get out, get a hand up. However, the way Breon Pass is shooting the basketball, you've got to run him off the three-point line. His last 5 games, 75%, 9 of 12 from beyond the arc. Off to a great start here today.
Breon Pass also recruited as a college receiver, and I mean Tennessee, Texas, A&M, UNC, Virginia Tech. They all wanted him to play football.
Yeah, he didn't have just D1 offers. He had high-level D1 offers. But Breon Pass now in his 4th season at NC State, a guy that stuck around and waited his turn in the program, which you rarely see, as is the same case with Tay Murray, a 4th-year guy here at the University of Virginia, now in the rotation and getting quality minutes, helping his team off the bench.
Off a nice fake, knocked that down. He has 4. In the early going, Virginia needs some of that offense after a hot start. They've cooled off a little bit. Trey Parker, the freshman. Dennis Parker Jr. on a nice drive to lay it in.
Of course, Dennis Parker Jr. wants to have a strong performance here. John Marshall High School, about an hour from here, Richmond, Virginia, alma mater of Jason Williford, associate head coach at the University of Virginia. So a lot of friends and family in the building, I'm sure, to see little DP.
Man, there have been some great coaches in all sports. Nice play here by Andrew Rohde to weave his way in and lay that one down. Talk about coaching talent just in the building today. We showed you Tony Bennett.
And we got another legend in the building, Coach Bruce Arenas, upstairs checking it out. You got a chance to talk with him earlier. Of course, I was fortunate to be here on grounds when his soccer program won 5 consecutive national championships.
Bruce can flat coach. He could coach anything. I think any sport. Little follow-away shot, nicely done here by Trey Parker, the freshman, who was only 4 for 19 from 3 coming into play today.
Yeah, struggling, and everyone seemed to have struggled shooting the basketball for NC State on the season. Only 32% from beyond the three-point arc, but off to a great start here shooting the basketball. Must be something about the baskets here. 5 of 9 for the Wolfpack.
Taken away by Taylor. Taylor bumped by Murray, who ties him up, and the foul.
Now the officials are going to talk about this to see if that's a flagrant foul or not. Quick conversation, nothing flagrant there. Tay Murray does a good job of not committing the flagrant, although he does tie up the basketball.
Now Clarence Armstrong and Tony Chiazzi getting together for a moment on that.
You saw Teddy Valentine and Clarence Armstrong both going over, and Tay Murray does get the arms wrapped around him early, but does a great job getting his hands off and up. And I love the officiating by this group to not even bother going over to look at it. They have the understanding that it's not a flagrant.
So it'll be Taylor at the line, 73%. His second year at NC State. He also spent 2 years at Butler. Debbie Ryan also here today.
Debbie Ryan hanging out courtside. Got a chance to talk with her earlier, and she makes sure to give Ron Sanchez some love. And, of course, Debbie Ryan coached, in my opinion, the greatest point guard in the University of Virginia, one of the greatest point guards in the history of the game, and Dawn Staley, but also gave Gino Auriemma his start.
Yes.
Debbie sitting alongside my guy, Phil Wendell, over there.
She got Gino going.
Yeah, she did get Gino going. Royalty right there along the front line.
There's quite a bit of it here at Virginia.
Obi, that's actually where I sit when I come to UVA games as a fan and spectator.
You do?
Yeah, right where Debbie sits. Phil Wendell, of course, one of our biggest supporters here at the university.
And for you, there should be a throne there. Not a chair, a throne.
Far from it, my friend.
Sharma off the fake, can't stick it. Battle for the rebound. Oh, it can't free it. Saunders will lay it in.
Great hustle by Saunders to be able to go after the basketball. We talked about his offensive rebounding prowess. Shows it off on that possession, just stronger to the ball.
29-21, NC State. Taylor tried to drive it. Good defense by McNeely to step in and prevent that. Marcus Hill, the 6'4" senior out of Illinois. And out of Bowling Green, they transferred here to NC State. Tried to shovel the pass inside, and out it goes, intended for Huntley Hatfield.
The crowd getting involved. The students aren't here, OB. However, there's still some juice in the building here at JPJ.
Corey, the scout on NC State is they can't hit the three, and it's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, that hasn't been the case here for them this afternoon. 5 of 9 from beyond the arc. Breon Pass knocking down 2 of them himself, but everyone getting involved in the mix. Trey Parker coming only 4 of 19 from beyond the arc to this game. Knocks down his first three-point attempt, and you see on the season only 32% for the Wolfpack, but 5 of 9 today and shooting very well inside the paint as well. But Virginia with the advantage inside the paint, but down 15-0 from beyond the arc.
NC State without one of their key guys, at least for the first half, because Ben Middlebrooks is ill. He woke up this morning, couldn't keep anything down, the 6'10" senior. That's 10 points, 5 rebounds. Also a guy who got 21 points in one of the NCAA tournament games last March.
And the leading shot blocker in the ACC at 1.7 points per game. And so a rim protector for the Wolfpack as well. So big miss, but right now they haven't missed him, especially on the offensive end. A strong performance thus far for the Wolfpack.
McNeely with a bounce for Saunders. He tried to roll to the 10, and they pluck it away. A theft by NC NC State, and that's going to be 3 turnovers for Virginia.
That was one of the things that Ron Sanchez talked to us about. As you see the first turnover of the game for O'Connell, who hands it away 4-0 assist-to-turnover ratio. So 4-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. So he's one of the best in the ACC. Don't see him give it up often.
NC State turning it over quickly on the other end. Again, just 10 a game for them. Saunders with a nice drive using that shoulder.
And you can see the confidence growing in Saunders, putting the ball on the floor, getting to the rim, showing off that strong frame. Virginia's going to have to rely on him on both ends of the floor a lot moving forward.
Elijah Saunders, 6'8", but 240 out of Arizona, so very strong. Hill for O'Connell, was looking inside. The swing here for Taylor, trying to take that baseline. He'll find Hill. Hill denied by Sharma. Good defense there. O'Connell, shot clock down to 1. Can't hit it. So a stop for the Cavaliers. They've had a couple here in the last few minutes to kind of stem the tide on the Wolfpack, who look like they may be about to break away. A little shove here with 5:12 to go in the first half. And we'll have women's basketball, the Red River rivalry game on Thursday on ESPN2. Number 10 Oklahoma hosting number 6 Texas at the Lloyd Noble Center in Norman. Coverage beginning at 9 Eastern after the Memphis FAU men's game. And the Oklahoma men remaining undefeated as well.
Debbie absolutely knows about those big-time matchups. Multiple Final Fours during her tenure. The head coach here at the University of Virginia is another turnover for Virginia, trying to go high-low action.
NC State's gone 3.5 minutes without a field goal, and finally they convert one on a fast break.
And that's what they do. Points off of turnovers as well as fast break points. That's what the Wolfpack do. They lead the ACC in both categories.
Virginia trying to quickly return on the other end. Tapped out high for O'Connell. And numbers here. Decides not to shoot the 3. Huntley Hatfield on Buchanan. O'Connell again back to the big out of the double. Here's Taylor to line it up and sticks the 3.
But great ball movement by the Wolfpack. The double team by Virginia going in, trying to get the basketball out of the hands of Huntley Hatfield. The extra passing on the exterior allows Taylor to get a nice look from 3.
The story here has been NC State shooting the 3-pointers 6 out of 11. And they have their largest lead.
And that's not the scouting report. You know, coming in shooting 32%, that's under average. When you consider 33% is average for shooting the 3. So the scouting report had to be to force them to beat you from the outside.
Sharma kicks from 3-point land. Ishan Sharma, the Canadian, where he started Fort Erie International Academy. It's one of the top academies there.
It makes the first 3-point field goal of the game for Virginia, who they've struggled from beyond the arc early in this one, so getting involved in the 3-point contest as well.
Yeah, they've really flipped roles here because Virginia has been the far better 3-point team. And a whistle in the paint. And a foul will go on Buchanan, and that's going to be his second. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance.
Kevin and Coach in studio coming up at the half. We're going to have much more on the Leonard Hamilton situation at Florida State. Get Coach's thoughts on that. Plus, consider the depth of the ACC and how many teams might be tournament eligible, which speaks to the opportunity for NC State.
Yeah, NC State, this would be a quad 2 win, which would be a good win. NC State has no bad losses. How do you beat Virginia? You turn them over, you run them off the 3-point line. So far, Corey, pretty good for NC State, and they're 6 for 11 from the 3-point line.
It absolutely has been great for NC State on 3-point line, Coach. And I know you take some pride in that. Of course, your relationship with Coach Kevin Keats, those two go back a long time. When Seth was the head coach at Virginia Tech, Coach Keats used to send him in a pipeline when Coach Keats was the head coach at Hargrave. Always getting guys down there, and they had a lot of success at Castle Coliseum playing for Coach Greenberg.
Foul here with the score 34-26. Guys, we're talking about Leonard Hamilton. I want to get your early opinion. The ACC is losing outstanding coaches. Leonard is being sued by a number of players who say they did not receive their NIL payments as promised. We'll see how that all plays out, but it seems like one coach after another has reason to leave campus in the ACC these days.
One thing for certain, and I know nothing about the details of the
following
lawsuit.
Players under review for a potential flagrant foul.
I know none of that as we have a review for a flagrant foul. Clarence Armstrong is communicating through our referee microphone, but I can tell you this, I do know the man. I know the man well, I know Leonard Hamilton well, and I'm a believer in him as a person.
Yes.
Now, whatever happened, I can't speak on because I don't know, but I'm a believer in Coach Ham as we get a look at to see if this is a flagrant one, and will that be a hook and hold? The question is, you look at the right arm, is there a hook and hold there? I don't believe there's enough to be a flagrant on that possession from the angle that we saw from Huntley Hatfield. I think it'll be a common offensive foul going the other direction. But we got a great crew here on hand taking an extra look at it just to make sure.
So taking a look at Huntley Hatfield.
Stands, common foul.
Just a common foul. And nothing extra, a 3:22 before the break. And just to finish the thought on Leonard, you and I have covered him many, many times over the years. He's such a great guy and such a decent human being. I don't know what happened with all of that. None of us do yet. But what is very strange is some of the best coaches in America out of the ACC are not coaching in the ACC anymore.
Well, and that's the thing. And again, I hope this is not the end for Coach Ham. But regardless as to whether or not it is, one thing for certain is he has always been about uplifting and the benefit of his players.
Yes, it truly is.
And so to see this happening, and again, we're in unprecedented times in college athletics. You know, to just hear and fathom that players are suing a coach over money. I mean, when you saw NIL, it's not Coach Ham's money. Let's start with that. But when it's all said and done, you know, we're at unprecedented times in college athletics.
Boy, are we ever. Styles with the foul. And Sharma up top with Virginia trailing 34-26 at the 3-minute mark of the first half. He almost gave it up. Shot clock down to 7. Murray on the move on the baseline. Kicks out for McNeely for a 3.
And a great play by Tane Murray, keeping his dribble alive along the baseline and head up, delivering a dime to McNeely, who was able to knock down the 3-ball, and Virginia getting back within 5. But respect to Tane Murray. A little Steve Nash action along the baseline.
And McNeely, 43% in his career from the 3. Number 1 in Virginia all time. Huntley Hatfield back down, getting inside the lane, and a whistle. Blake Buchanan trying to stick with him. Virginia, by the way, in a 6-0 run.
And watch what Tane Murray does here. Instead of pulling it back out and not staying aggressive, he stays aggressive, gets past Dontrez Styles, keeps his head up, even though he's under the basket, finds McNeely on the outside. And we talk about guys, there's something to being loyal, staying in a program. Tane Murray has been now at University of Virginia for 4 years. And as he continues to grow in the system, he becomes more and more reliable for Ron Sanchez in this program and is finding himself much more so in the rotation as a solid contributor.
Well, you're an outlier these days if you're along a campus for this many years. Buchanan just picked up his 3rd foul for the Cavaliers.
He's been battling with Huntley Hatfield in the paint. We've seen those guys going at it a number of times, but you don't mind that. You'd rather see Blake Buchanan come out, be aggressive, fighting hard to try to get position on the offensive end and also trying to keep away position for Huntley Hatfield.
Murray picked up the dribble and he walked with it. And a traveling violation. That'll be turnover number 5 for Virginia.
And that's the pressure. One of the things Kevin Keats talked to us about pregame was it wasn't just the full court pressure. They wanted to make sure they had that pressure in the half court to find ways to be able to turn Virginia over, not allow their players to be comfortable, especially getting into 3-point range.
It's a great point. It's actually been more damaging than the full court pressure. A swing here, another whistle exactly 2 minutes before the break, and they're howling here at JPJ on a foul against Kofi, the 6'10 freshman.
But it's an obvious foul. Kofi actually discussed it with himself after getting the foul, holding Huntley Hatfield. Great angle. How about our camera crew right here? You see Kofi holding there, not allowing Huntley Hatfield to release it, go after the basketball, forcing the turnover. was distraught with himself afterward as Anthony Robinson checks in. Now all the bigs have foul trouble thus far for Virginia.
Travel here. Only Hatfield will give it back, and that's their 4th turnover. It's significant when either one of these teams turns it over.
It is. You got both teams handle the basketball very well. And so normally 2 of the top teams in the ACC of not giving the basketball away as you see more full court pressure. And this is the matchup that you want. The shot clock never started on that possession.
Yeah, Ted Valentine saw that and stopped play.
But if you're Virginia, that's the matchup you want. You want to try to find a way to get Marcus Hill and Breon Pass off the ball handler. Allow that to be Michael O'Connell. For as great as O'Connell is on the offensive end, he's not the ball pressure guy that you have alongside him in the backcourt. So you want him to be the one that has to pressure you 94 feet. Great decision there by McNeely just to go set the screen and force O'Connell to be the guy that has to pressure the entire way.
Virginia right now 0-1 in the ACC, losing to new conference opponent SMU in early December, 63-51. We're talking about all the dramatic changes around college basketball, and none more evident than the ACC and Virginia. We saw Tony Bennett retire shortly before the season began. And the ACC's list of icons who have left the programs in the era of NIL and the transfer portal, it's really astonishing how many tremendous coaches have stepped aside, and really starting with Coach K, who probably saw a lot of things developing sooner than most.
Well, and you consider Roy actually stepped away a year before Coach K did. So you think about, between the 2 of those coaches, you're talking about 8 national championships. Then you think about Tony Bennett, that's 9. Jim Boeheim, that's 10 national championships that you have now seen walk away from the sidelines over the past 4 seasons in this game. And Jim Larinaga, 2 Final Fours.
Yes.
You're talking about elite coaches, all who most likely will end up in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done.
Jim Larinaga, by the way, in Miami, did an amazing job at that school. The Elite Eights, the Final Four, the success there, and what's always been a big-time football town. And he made college basketball fun in Miami.
He absolutely did. You got to think about the times, of course, they won the ACC championship in 2013, and then the magical run back-to-back years to the Elite Eight and then Final Four. And congratulations to Coach L on a great career, and I hope the Hall of Fame will be calling very soon.
So 36-29 NC State. Hill swings up high for Huntley Hatfield. Breon Pass trying to make a move, and another whistle. A lot of fouls all of a sudden, really at the end of the half.
And a lot of turnovers. 6 for Virginia, and now the 5th turnover for NC State. We talked a lot about the fact that neither of these teams is guilty of turning the basketball over often. As Huntley Hatfield picks up his 2nd, now has to go have a seat.
NC State cooling off, just 2 field goals in the last 7 minutes. That has allowed Virginia to stick. Catch and fire, McNeely, no.
But I like that shot by McNeely because he didn't wait. He's the best shooter on the floor, which means that when you get an opportunity, you have to let it go. Was very aggressive on that opportunity.
Pass tried to do exactly that, and it's going to go out of play and back over to Virginia.
And now 6 turnovers for NC State, coming in only averaging 9.7 per game. 6 here in the first half with still a minute remaining.
And that, of course, was long Tony Bennett's game. His team just never turned the ball over and suffocated you defensively with that pack line. 1:02 to go before the break.
And didn't foul. That was another thing. Virginia always one of the top teams in the country of fewest fouls per game.
Last year, Virginia just 8 turnovers a game, #1 in the country. Murray will back it away. Down to 9 on the shot clock. Here's McNeely working on O'Connell. Driving past him with a teardrop. Off the window, too strong. And a save on a baseline by Marcus Hill. Taylor slash it inside. Tough move, and it drops in. Count that. And he'll be off to the line. And Jaden Taylor, slick play for the 6'4 senior.
And you honestly at that point are probably thinking to keep it for the last shot, but Taylor, feeling good about things, catches in the corner, is able to beat Rhodey off the bounce, and then the contact, the bucket, an opportunity for the and one at the line.
And Robinson, his second foul. Taylor makes 73% and a three-point play. So back up to 10 for the Wolfpack. And here comes the pressure again. It's been there all game long. Rhodey breaking free across midcourt. 20 seconds before halftime. Rhodey averaging about 8 points a game. He can be deadly beyond that three-point line. Murray with it as they play for the final shot before halftime. They want McNeely. He'll kick it out. Murray has to heave it up there. In and out at the buzzer. And that's how the first half ends. NC State, a little push there late. They open up a 10-point lead.
Kevin Keats 2 and 3 on this floor, coming back to his home state. A 10-point lead going into halftime. Opportunity to go 500 here at JPJ, which very few opposing coaches have ever done.
So we're at halftime here in Charlottesville, Virginia. NC State up by 10 on the Cavaliers. Good three-point shooting early on, especially for NC State. Studio now, Kevin Seth.
All right, LB and Corey, happy New Year's to you and yours as we welcome you into our college basketball studios alongside Coach Seth Greenberg. Kevin Connors here with you. Last 3 games for NC State. 7 made threes against Rider, 6 against Kansas, 6 against Coppin State. How do we explain 6 in the first half today?
Quality of shots. They're sharing the basketball, good spacing, playing ahead of the defense, getting the ball reversed and being shot ready. I mean, I look at this NC State team. Look how they're getting this. Advanced pass, step in. That's a step in three. Step in threes are good threes. Paint touch, another second paint touch behind the basketball. That's a contested three. That's a big time shot. They got 4 different guys knocking down threes. You get dribble penetration, contested shot, knock down a three. But again, these guys are shooting it, shot ready, show their hands. Good ball goes inside. It's going to come out the other side right here. Boom. 1 extra pass, ball goes in again. Watch what happens. Extra pass, 1 more. Step in threes are good threes. The quality of the shot that right now NC State's getting in relation to Virginia is the difference. Virginia wants to shoot 40% of their shots from the 3. NC State has run them off the 3-point line, made them a 2-point shooting team. Terrific defensive game plan for Kevin Keats with an opportunity for a quad 2 win.
Jaden Taylor leading all scorers with 11 points in this first half. We talked about it. It's a big, big game for NC State given the landscape in the ACC. Only 5 teams inside the net top 50, Duke, Pitt, SMU, Clemson, and North Carolina. 9 teams are at 100 or lower. There just simply are not a ton of quality wins in the league, Coach, which calls into question how many NCAA tournament teams are there in the ACC?
Probably 5 right now. In this moment in time, they'd be fortunate to get 5. You see all those 2 teams within the top 30? Those are the only 2 quad 1 wins you have if you win that game at home. Now, obviously, if you go on the road and you win the game on the road, top 75 gives you a chance to get a quad 1 win. But if you look at it, Duke has separated themselves in the league. There's no doubt about it. Elite defensive team, length, athleticism. They have tremendous balance of youth and experience. We all know about Cooper Flagg and what his impact on the game, but it's more than just Cooper Flagg. It's a collective responsibility. You get Evans now giving him another guy coming off the bench that can make shots. But to me, it's what they're doing defensively. Carolina, maybe they found something with that small lineup. You know, Ian Jackson takes pressure off of R.J. Davis, another guy that can score it, but they still don't have any rim protection or interior scoring. SMU is the one that I've been most impressed with. Style of play. They can impose their style of play. They got legitimate size. Boopie Miller is an excellent floor leader, gets some easy baskets. So I think that the ACC will get 5 teams in. The problem is opportunities. NC State doesn't have a bad loss. They've got to find a way to beat the top 5 to see if they can start to build a resume. But when you have an 18-team league and only 6 teams are in the top 60, you're going to play so many games that literally mean nothing in terms of building your resume.
And again, that's a scary thing. 9 teams with a net under 100. There just aren't the opportunities to build resumes here. We'll see how it plays out in the ACC. And a great start for Jaden Taylor to this one, 11 points for the Wolfpack. NC State on the road with a 10-point halftime lead.
They say that some things will never change. Always go talk. No matter how high you get, as soon as you win.
Through 20 minutes of basketball, Elijah Saunders has not missed. 4 attempts, 4 makes. He's got 8 points. Virginia with some work to do in the second half. We head back to Charlottesville after this.
Look at me, I'm winning. Whoa, can you see the vision? Whoa, this is the beginning. Hey, this is the beginning.
Happy New Year from all of us at ESPN. We're getting ready for the second half here in Charlottesville, Virginia, and NC State with a 10-point lead on the Cavaliers. Dave O'Brien and Corey Alexander alongside. Thanks so much for tuning in. The first half, 62% shooting for NC State. That would be a season high if it continues.
It was a reversal of roles. Virginia won the points in the paint. They won the points off turnover. However, it was the Wolfpack who shot the basketball extremely well from beyond the three-point arc. They got going early and often. Michael O'Connell knocks down the three, and they've had so many different guys. Breon Pass get involved in the mix. Jaden Taylor knocking down a couple of threes of his own. So it's been a multitude of guys getting the job done. Even Trey Parker coming off the bench knocks down a three for the Wolfpack. Jaden Taylor, 2 of 3, has a career-high 5 assists in the first half. Kevin Keys told us pregame, they're a great team when they play together.
Yeah, 16 minutes for him, 11 points and 5 assists. Saunders with 8 points, 3-point makes. Well, you see there, Virginia's been the better team this year in that category. Not today.
Not today at all, but one of the things Virginia has done, they've handled the full court pressure well. Not so good in the half court. Both teams with 6 turnovers in the first half. I'm sure we'll see them both clean this up here in the second half.
Now the Pack has the basketball as we open up the second 20 minutes here at JPJ. O'Connell denied. O'Connell's name will always be remembered in history at NC State for that shot he hit against Virginia in the tournament semifinals, and a back 2 to get the second half going.
A similar start to the second half we saw in the first half, a drive to the bucket and an easy basket for Dontrez Styles to start off the half.
He has 6 points, 41-29, and Virginia has to be very wary of an early spurt here by the Wolfpack, particularly beyond that 3-point line. Shot clock is down to 9. Kofi gets a good long look. He can't sink it. And a shove, it'll go the other way. A foul in the paint will go against Virginia, and that'll go against Elijah Saunders, the 6'8" junior.
I love how Saunders tried to point at Dontrez Styles and say that he was the one that was pushing when Styles went flying. I mean, there's a mismatch in size. It may not be as much in height, but you can see Saunders is a much more physical specimen than when you see with Styles on the block.
Wolfpack right now at 8-4, trying to go to 2-0 in the ACC. Pass into the corner with 11 on the shot clock. Marcus Hill looking to penetrate. A lot of contact, no whistle, knocks it down.
But that's Marcus Hill's game, the largest lead of the game for the Wolfpack, as they go up 14 right here. But his game is getting into the painted area, attacking off the bounce.
He's their top scorer coming to NC State from Bowling Green, where he averaged 21 a game last year. That led the MAC in scoring. Downstairs, Saunders, couple of fakes, and 1, and he'll be off to the line.
And the game within the game, the battle between Saunders and Styles. Saunders is able to win on this possession, catching the basketball over the top. Not a great angle on that pass, but effective enough for Saunders to be able to catch the pump fake and the finish through the contact.
Looking for his 11th point. Styles with the foul. Saunders good at the line, 82%. And that'll rattle home. He had 21 in their last game against American, so he can score.
He can score the basketball, and I think he's becoming more and more comfortable. You got to understand, with a new player coming in, which both these teams have new guys, it's going to take a while for guys to get into their roles. We saw that with anyone than with the Wolfpack a season ago. You think about the guys like O'Connell, Jaden Taylor, all the DJ Horn, the guys who were in there for their first year, and how they meshed at the end of the year, of course, making it all the way to the Final Four.
What an incredible run for a team that had 14 losses going into the ACC tournament, and a foul downstairs in the opening minutes of the second half. 43-32 NC State. Nobody predicted that there were signs that they could make some noise in the ACC tournament. You and I had them a couple of times before Washington, D.C. when they went on that 5 wins in 5 days, the miraculous run. You could tell that it could happen, but nobody was betting on it.
Well, you could tell that there was talent on that team, and they struggled to really play with the chemistry last year that you were expecting and what you saw. But, of course, with DJ Burns, who was just alone, a problem to deal with in the painted area, but they had DJ Horn on the outside, Michael O'Connell distributing the basketball, Jaden Taylor knocking down threes. They had so many different guys, of course, Diarra on the offensive glass. When they put it all together and played together with the cohesiveness that they did is the reason why we watched them win 9 straight games and find their way to the Final Four.
The magic carpet ride of a run, no question about that. And Kevin Keats did a great job himself and his staff making sure that those guys were ready to go day after day after day when it mattered the most.
And how about this, Obi? NC State had this 4 major programs: men's, women's basketball, football, and baseball. The baseball team went to the College World Series. All 4 of their 4 major programs finished in the AP top 25 on the season.
How about that?
So a strong year for my guy, Boo Corrigan, and the NC State Athletic Department.
I would say that's an understatement.
Of course, Boo Corrigan from Charlottesville. Mom's still here, 94 years old.
Brody down for Saunders and a bucket.
And Saunders has been the focal point for Virginia throughout this second half to start it off, and you can see that they're looking for him so much that Kevin Keats wants to have a conversation about it. Going over the top, Ron Sanchez making sure that Elijah Saunders gets his opportunities, showing off his strength on the inside, sealing the mismatch against O'Connell, the easy layup. Virginia within 7.
Hey, this is the beginning. Hey.
Corey Alexander, Elijah Saunders with 15.
Elijah Saunders' first ACC game did not go according to plan. Only 3 points for him in that one, 0 for 6 at SMU. However, he has changed his fortunes here in his first home ACC game. Elijah Saunders now with 15 or more points in 4 consecutive games, and I believe the count is still going here, OB.
We had 19 in the loss to Florida, 15 against Memphis, so he's played well against elite talent.
He has, and again, you're talking about a young man who was a part of a national championship runner-up team at San Diego State 2 seasons ago, his freshman year, so he knows his way around the basketball court, now finding his footing here in Charlottesville.
Huntley Hatfield, a big rebound. Up top, Taylor can't connect from three-point land.
The 2 offensive rebounds. This was a concern for Ron Sanchez about keeping the Wolfpack off the glass. 2 offensive rebounds alone in this possession.
O'Connell, 8 to shoot. Now Jaden Taylor had a big first half, steps back, and drains the triple.
And that time you'll go 3 for $1. Normally I say 2 for $1, but 3 attempts on that same possession. Taylor's able to make good on it, knocking down another 3 for the Wolfpack.
Scouting report that said the Wolfpack can't hit threes. We're tossing that right now.
Yeah, I believe that one has to go out the window. Maybe that was non-conference action.
That might be it, so we can clarify it, but they are hitting him in conference play. Kofi up high, looking for a cutter. Saunders gets another touch. Seemingly, he's going to get a touch every time down.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And draws the foul. Dontrez Styles trying to stick with him, and he commits the personal. And we're going to take a break here with 15:59 to go in Charlottesville. Back up to 10 for the Pack. But that should be a dandy. Just settle in for the day, right? And take in those games. Arkansas and #1 Tennessee. Look at Arkansas, 51% shooting. Boogie Flan, the freshman, he is the real deal.
He absolutely is the real deal. Arkansas, a very good team, but when you consider the real deal, Tennessee, the plus 24.6 scoring margin, first in the SEC, second in Division I. And when you're first in the SEC this year in anything. Let me tell you how special that is. Elite year thus far for the SEC and what they've been able to accomplish in the non-conference.
Absolutely stacked, and I'd put Auburn with anybody. Anybody in the country, any night of the week.
Obi, I was there for the Maui Invitational to call the Auburn games. And when I tell you, and they barely escaped the first round against Iowa State. And outside of that, it wasn't even close. They were so far above the competition that they played against, and they have been outside of the visit to Cameron Indoor all season.
That's right. Huntley Hatfield spinning down low to the left hand. Boy, he did everything he wanted to do except make the shot.
And you see early with Virginia's bigs in foul trouble, they want to give the inside guys a number of opportunities. Shocked to see O'Connell trying to guard Elijah Saunders on the block right here. If you're Virginia, you want to continue to feed Saunders.
Murray stops, kicks outside, McNeely. And an excellent look, and with that great touch he has, he's 43% beyond the line for his career.
But that's always a good option to find Amac on the perimeter. His parents, of course, here watching as well. Got to see them in practice yesterday, and they're applauding their son's effort along with the crowd here at JPJ.
I was about to say they're not alone. The building comes to life as Virginia claws to it in 5, and that'll go the other way. That's against NC State.
Now this building starting to sound eerily similar to what we've seen here for the last 13 or so years. The second time Murray's driven baseline and found McNeely at the top of the key. These two guys connecting on a number of looks.
Parker Jr. with the foul. Virginia on a 12-3 run. Murray on the attack to the lane. Scoops it in.
Maybe this theme is about mom and dad being in town. Both their parents, McNeely's family, Murray's family, at practice yesterday, so they're understanding they got to put on for mom and dad in the crowd.
Swing pass inside, finally Hatfield, but he missed it again. And it's off him and out of play. Back over to Virginia.
Momentum is a dangerous thing, OB. Momentum can make you miss point-blank layups. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield got a great look right there, as you mentioned, off of a beautiful feed. And speaking of nice finds, the kick to the corner, and then Tane Murray attacking off the bounce, showing his maturity and his strength. As Anthony Robinson flexes a little bit on the sideline, appreciating his teammate.
Momentum and the love of mom and dad.
Yeah, there you go.
And a pretty good mix right now for Virginia. Still down 3, but surging. NC State just 3 for 9 shooting it in the second half. After a scalding first half. And Kofi will draw the foul before the shot. 14-17 to go here in Charlottesville, and big-time life for the Cavaliers. And coming up, Wake and Syracuse at 2 o'clock, followed by Arizona State and BYU at 4 this afternoon on ESPN2.
I believe my brother, Randolph Childress, a.k.a. Chill, is in Syracuse. And, of course, he is absolutely chilling because that's what you do in Syracuse at this time of year.
You sure do. I know that firsthand.
Yes, you do.
Chilling or freezing to death. McNeely looking to make a move on Hill. He'll fire a long one.
I love it. McNeely being aggressive. That's what you want to see from him. Obi, 44% is way too high of a percentage to shoot from 3. You got to take some bad ones every now and then and see if you can knock them down.
Now for him, very few of them are bad pass. Almost lost his footing and lost the ball, but maintained it. Hill spinning, weaving inside, and left it well short. Rebound comes free. They got 4 on the shot clock. Here's pass to fire. Another second effort. O'Connell. No, that barely got there.
Virginia fortunate to be able to escape that possession without NC State scoring. 3 more looks at the rim with the offensive rebounding. But right now for Virginia, you want to try to find a way to get the basketball in the hands of Saunders or McNeely. Both those guys got it going right now.
Murray. O'Connell sticking with him. Here's Rhodey. Got it! And Virginia, coming from 10 down, has tied it.
But this is the Virginia team that you're expecting to see. When they handle the pressure, they've got elite shooters on the perimeter. Rhodey knocking down another. He's shooting over 40% on the season.
The last time Virginia led, it was 13-11 in the first half. Now locked up at 46. And now the Pack needs an answer. Parker Jr. tried to scoop and lost it on play, but it's deflected by Virginia. It was with 5 on the shot clock.
Once again, we've seen Tane Murray attacking the basket. That time gets it to Rhodey, who catches high and releases it high.
Pass. Yes, that'll go. Well, every shot he takes is contested and tough, but he makes them.
But I love the way this young man has grown up. Again, he didn't leave. He didn't walk away from it. He stuck with it, found himself in a situation where he would be a member of the rotation, and now playing huge minutes and making big shots for the Pack.
He made one there, 48-46. Murray zipping the pass for Rhodey. Rhodey wants the paint. Up and in it goes.
This is a different Andrew Rohde. When he's aggressive, you talk about a young man who transferred in, averaging 17 points per game as a freshman. Struggled at times last year with his confidence, but now starting to find it here in his role at Virginia. Getting it going on the last couple of possessions on the offensive end.
Well, this one here at JPJ has heated up. Hill leaping into the paint. Can't convert. McNeely come out of the pack. On the bounce, and Saunders couldn't handle it as they turn it over. Hill on the run out. Up against Buchanan and banks it in.
Missed opportunity for Virginia to take a lead on that possession. If Saunders is able to handle that basketball and get a shot on the glass, Virginia would take a lead for the first time in a very long time.
Hill now is 6. Came in as their top scorer with 13 and a balanced attack for the Wolfpack. Taylor gets 12 a game. Ben Middlebrooks has not played because he's ill. McNeely will switch that one in.
McNeely looking very similar to a young man on Virginia's bench. I remember watching Kyle Guy take shots like that back in the day. Kyle Guy practicing against Virginia, shooting left-handed OB, and I watched him hit one from a spot just like that yesterday with the left hand. However, IMAC does it with the right, and this time he gives Virginia a 1-point lead.
Look at me, I'm winning. Whoa, can you see the vision? Whoa, this is the...
Virginia feeling very much at home. Look at what they've done in the second half now, outscoring NC State 22-11 to grab the lead.
Well, and they've been able to find the three-point arc. Isaac McNeely, Andrew Rohde, everyone getting involved in the action, and then Rohde going to work in the painted area, feeling more confident about his game, and then McNeely entering his inner tie of Kyle Guy right there. Although he's wearing the Ty Jerome number,
yes,
he's playing more like the Kyle Guy. You know, you think about we call them ghosts of Virginia past, guys who hung a banner here in 2019. Ty Jerome, by the way, balling for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, one friendly ghost, by the way.
Very friendly ghost.
Styles jumping inside that lane to draw some contact. NC State just 3 for their last 14 shooting it. So they have cooled off after a scalding hot first half in which they shot 62%.
But really coming back to what the scouting report on the Wolfpack is, they want to beat you with points in the paint. It's not about shooting the basketball from the three-point arc, of course. When you're making them, you want to see them go up. But they want to be able to attack the paint. Dontre Styles on the post-up, an opportunity at the line to give the Wolfpack the lead right back.
Styles, the transfer from Georgetown. Now, if he misses this foul shot, that would be 2 in a row. And if that happens, everybody in the arena gets free bacon.
Which is why the volume level has gone way up here. Everybody's very familiar with bacon.
Here's number 2. Do we have bacon? No.
No bacon for you. At least not right now. That's why the Boo Birds are out. But there will be more opportunities, I'm sure, throughout this game.
So tied at 51. And Murray to bring it up, as we mentioned. His mom and dad are here from New Zealand for an extended period of time to watch their son play.
Had a great conversation with them as well as IMAC's parents in practice yesterday. You know, Isaac McNeely and I have a understanding, OB. He is supposed to go down the lane and dunk on someone. His mom says he's been able to do it since he was in the 8th grade.
Sharma hits it. 3-point land. Ishan Sharma, the freshman.
And now McNeely cheering on his teammate as Sharma's able to get the 3 to go. He made the first 3 of the game for Virginia. And now comes in and knocks down another from the wing.
So now it's Virginia's largest lead. They were 2 for 8 out of the gate from 3-point land. They've gone 4 for 5 since then. Styles to the paint, turns around. No, way short. The defense for the Cavaliers has been exceptional since the break.
And more importantly, gathering the defensive rebound once you get a stop. The stand is not finished until you get that rebound and going the other direction.
Saunders got a good look. And a lot of iron. It's tipped. Still a loose ball, but controlled by the Pack. The 3-pointer away from tying it. We're inside 10 minutes. And knocked knocked away. It'll be NC State ball with 9:26 to go.
Right now, Kevin Keats wants to focus on the matchup between Dontrez Styles and Elijah Sanders. When you consider that Sanders has been able to get going offensively, that's the best way to go at a guy that has it going on the offensive end. Make him have to defend. Be interesting to see if they go back into the painted area for this possession.
Open shot by Parker, too strong. Rebound, big battle for that. Once again, NC State comes away with it. They've won a lot of those today for those second efforts on the offensive glass. NC State with 7 offensive rebounds in the second half. Just 1 in the first half. Hill airborne, what a tough shot, it's in and out.
That's a great job defensively by Elijah Sanders, staying in front of the quicker, smaller guard, and Hill sliding his feet. You see Sanders doing a great job here, staying in front, and then more importantly, defending without fouling as the shot clock nears its end.
Ron Sanchez, the interim head coach for Virginia, gets McNeely back in there. No reason to take him out the rest of the way with his shooting talent. The swing underneath that, reverses up and good by Kofi.
And Kofi taking advantage of his matchup. You talk about a young man that stuffs the stat sheets in all areas as the crowd here at JPJ gets on their feet looking for another defensive stand.
NC State has to find a hot shooter in a hurry. They're 3 for their last 17. They turn it over again. And Rhodey will wait for the rest of the Cavaliers here, up by 5. 8 minutes to go.
Oh, defensive breakdown.
McNeely got it.
You cannot lose that guy.
Timeout, NC State.
And you know Kevin Keats wants to talk about that one. If there's any guy in the building that is allowed to run free, it's not number 11 in white. You cannot give him looks. The all-time leading three-point percentage field goal leader at the University of Virginia, getting a wide-open practice look on that possession defensively. You see no one going with McNeely. Too late to contest an elite shooter as such.
Isaac McNeely has caught fire, 3 for 4 here in the second half, just 2 for 7 in the first half, Corey.
But Kevin Keats talked to us earlier about you have to know where he is, and look at the defensive miscommunication. Jaden Taylor yells out switch. Marcus Hill does not recognizing it, allowing McNeely to go over, and this is a rhythm 3 for him, able to get a solid bounce turning. Isaac McNeely hasn't seen himself that wide open probably since he walked on grounds here at the University of Virginia.
You better guard him outside the building with his range. And a fumble and a turnover by Jaden Taylor. Very rare to see NC State sloppy like that. They're the best as far as turnovers in the conference, but fumbled that one away.
And it's been a 19-point turnaround, OB. Virginia went into the locker room at halftime down 10. Now they're up, 18-point turnaround, but up 8 now. An opportunity to add to it here after a turnover.
So they need Elijah Saunders, who was terrific in the first half, to get going again, but right now it's McNeely's show, and he misfires on that one. Virginia on top 59-51. And who will be that man for the Wolfpack to start to cook offensively? O'Connell picks up the dribble. Pass, trying to get it downstairs, and a whistle, and a foul will go against Virginia and Kofi. As we get set to ring in the new year, tomorrow we have a men's basketball doubleheader on ACC Network. That starts at 2:30, Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. And then Cooper Flag and number 4 Duke will take on Virginia Tech at Cameron Indoor, as we wish everyone a happy new year.
Better way to bring in New Year's than watching hoops.
No question about it. Huntley Hatfield with the basket. The 6'10 senior knocks it down.
And that's really where NC State's bread is buttered, in the painted area. So you look to see a lot of more of that down the stretch. Huntley Hatfield back on the floor as we see the Wolfpack now going a zone defensively. More of a 3-2 look, trying to keep Virginia shooters off the line.
Saunders on, tucking again for the triple.
The most difficult place to cover in a zone is the corners, especially when the basketball moves from side to side. That time, Virginia moving the ball very well, getting Saunders a good look.
He has 20. No answer for Styles, but a whistle with 6.5 remaining.
But watch the action as Virginia moves the basketball and give Blake Buchanan a lot of credit, getting a body on Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, trying to get out a contested three from Saunders along the baseline, but giving him more than enough time to knock down the three ball out of the corner.
Virginia has one of the great three-point shooters in the country, of course, in McNeely, but they have really come alive from three-point distance. Another one in tight by Huntley-Hatfield. Give him 10.
Yeah, back-to-back buckets for Huntley-Hatfield, but the issue for NC State is no longer what they do in the offensive end, is can they stop Virginia. Ron Sanchez told us that he would like to see his team in the 70s as long as he can keep NC State in maybe the 50s or 60s.
Yes, that's the game plan today. Coming up on 6 minutes to go. Saunders. Got to get a shot in the air. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Here's Rhodey. Got it! Way downtown for Andrew Rhodey, who makes 35%.
Again, you have elite shooters for Virginia. It's simply about can they get to those shots. Most teams have done a good job, especially in high-level competition, of running them off the three-point line.
After a 2-for-8 start from 3, Virginia is 7 for their last 9. Turnaround Styles off the front iron, and a foul on the play. 5:28 to go. And 65-55, it's Virginia turning the tables dramatically here in the second half. Down 10 at the break, and now up 10. The foul by Saunders is his 3rd.
And at the end of the shot clock, Andrew Rhodey coming off, knowing that he has to get a shot in the air, and OB, oftentimes that's the best time to shoot it, because there's no question as to whether it's a good shot or not. You've got to get a shot up, and Rhodey playing with tremendous confidence here this afternoon. Knocks down the 3 ball as we now find ourselves on Bacon watch once again.
And again, it's Styles at the line as they chant for free bacon in Charlottesville. He makes 77% for the year. And missed the pair. Rebounded by Virginia. And free bacon for everybody in the house.
I'm not sure they would cheer that loud in a shot clock violation. Of course, we know how valuable those are here in Charlottesville. So bacon, of course, always a favorite.
I hope mine makes it home. You know, I've got to connect through Charlotte. I don't know if they're going to go after it in my suitcase or what, but I'm taking it home. 65-55. We'll see how TSA responds to that.
It just have to be under 3 ounces.
Yeah, that's right. That's all I get. Just a little piece. 5:12 remaining. Buchanan moving inside and drops into the big fella at 6'11".
And if he can start to add some offensive punch to this Virginia lineup, look out. And again, one of the things we've talked about, OB, teams in this league get better as the season goes along. You're giving them an opportunity now to gel. And this Virginia team is looking about as good as it's looked, especially here in this second half, the entire season.
Taylor slamming on the brakes, did not walk, but they do turn it over. There's a lot of turnovers for a game for NC State.
But it's close quarters right there, and that's what Brandon Huntley-Hatfield is expecting for Jaden Taylor to get up on the glass. He can go after offensive rebound, but now 10 turnovers, which is over the season average for the Wolfpack. Still 4:41 remaining.
Right. And biggest lead so far today for Virginia, 67-55. As we start to really get rocking and rolling in the ACC. Kofi back on, and Buchanan, who just made a key shot, will return to the bench.
And dead ball allows the Wolfpack to pick up their pressure. It'll be interesting to see how Kevin Keys decides to play this last 4.5 minutes and how they'll come after Virginia.
The layup won't go. McNeely with a miss. But apparently he's got to be more like 25 feet out.
Right. If you're Virginia, that's what you want to do. When you break the pressure, you want to go try to score, but with point-blank layups, you got to take advantage of.
O'Connell from the corner around and out. He'll pick the rebound. O'Connell gets a second look, and this one he drains.
Classic 2 for $1. Give Marcus Hill a lot of credit getting in there, the offensive rebound, and finding O'Connell in the exact same corner where he missed the first one.
Hill trying to harass Rhodey, but he gets it across, keeps on driving. Went for a scoop, and he'll draw the foul. With 4 minutes to go. And the college football playoff continues with the quarterfinals on ESPN tonight. Penn State and Boise State. That's at 7:30. Tomorrow, Texas taking on Arizona State at 1 o'clock. Ohio State, Oregon in the Rose Bowl. That's at 5 Eastern. We cap the night with Notre Dame and Georgia in the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Boise State still has the blue field, correct?
They do.
I'll definitely be checking that out tonight. I want to see what uniform combination Penn State goes with. Of course, you know, I mean, again, you hate to root for anybody, but I can root for football. We got 2 of my guys at Penn State on the staff. Marcus Hagans, of course, the great Anthony Poindexter, both assistant coaches at Penn State. So I think I might have to go with the Nittany Lions.
You're going Nittany Lions.
I'm going Nittany Lions.
I'm going for Georgia to win the whole thing.
Of course you are.
In a big upset.
There's no surprise there.
A lot of tuition dollars have gone to the University of Georgia.
But to be fair, they actually did pay you as well.
We're supposed to talk about that. Huntley Hatfield in the paint, short. Rebound by Hill is up and in for 2.
The second possession where Hill was able to come up with the offensive rebound. This time he takes business into his own hands and finishes it off. But whenever the Wolfpack score, it gives them an opportunity to pick up full court with their pressure. Man-to-man pressure thus far hasn't affected Virginia.
Now, Virginia would have this game well in hand if not for the offensive rebounding of the Pack. Here's Kofi way downtown. He's 6'10", can't drain that. It's an 8-point game.
But you want him taking that shot. That's a confident shot. He got a good look, just unable to knock it down. But now the problem for Virginia is finishing defensive possessions. Even if you get a stop, you got to get the board.
Hard drive and a tough scoop by Parker Jr., but the shot up and in.
Third straight possession, second chance points for the Wolfpack.
Only Hatfield with a dozen. 68-62, under 3. Rhodey looking for someone to make a move. Kofi comes in averaging 8.6 rebounds. He gives it up. Been a while since McNeely has touched one beyond the 3-point line for Virginia. The shot clock a factor. It's down to 5. It was tipped. McNeely will launch one way downtown, and he can't hit it.
But the long 3 leads to a possible transition opportunity. 3-on-3, but O'Connell going to take it on his own shoulders. And whenever you've got guys on their heels, you absolutely want to go after them.
And drew the foul on Sharma.
The Pack getting the job done on the offensive glass. Brandon Huntley Hatfield with the easy putback to get the game within 6.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much. Hunter Salas, look at this last 2 games, about 27 points per contest.
And one of the things for Hunter Salas, getting off the basketball a little bit more of Coach Forbes, putting the basketball in other guys' hands, allowing Hunter Salas to go back to being a scorer, which he did so well last season. So it's worked out very well for the Demon Deacons.
Right, a premier scorer. O'Connell at the line, just 60% there for the grad out of the state of New York, drops in number 1. So they have certainly dramatically reversed roles. In the first half, NC State was burying 3 after 3. They've cooled in the second half, and Virginia has taken on that mantle, nailing their 3s.
And Virginia 7 of 12 from 3-point range here in the second half. But NC State getting to the offensive glass. That's what's allowed them to make this a 5-point game and coming up with some timely stops here in the last few possessions.
Going for the trap, and well done not to reach and commit a foul. Possession arrow will keep it on this end of the floor. Hey, go back to 2009. Virginia is 170-11 when they score 70 points or more.
Wow. Of course, you go back to 2009. That's the first season for Tony Bennett, who is now the all-time leading wins coach at the University of Virginia men's basketball.
McNeely
took over
very patiently, getting the pass to Murray. He'll attack now, and the misfire. O'Connell with a rebound. A chance to run out now for the Pack. Although Virginia does a good job getting back defensively. Huntley Hatfield again, and another one in close. How many has he missed at that range Like right on top of the iron, he's missed 3 or 4.
And let's also add no Ben Middlebrooks in this game. So Huntley Hatfield playing more minutes than he's really accustomed to. No one for NC State averages over 30 minutes per game. Huntley Hatfield normally playing about 20 per game and is well above that at 25 here today.
Saunders gets an open look off the back of the iron.
Virginia has stalled a bit on the offensive end of the floor, allowing NC State to stick around.
Coming up on 1 minute to play, though, and that'll be a rounded out by Parker Jr. And Ted Valentine with a whistle.
They're going to get Tane Murray trying to keep Marcus Hill off the glass. And it's rare to see your point guard and your shooting guard so effective on the offensive glass. But Marcus Hill's come up with a number of great offensive rebounds here in this second half as NC State's been able to make a run. Another opportunity here to cut into the lead at the free throw line.
And they're 9 for 13 at the line so far today. Virginia 7 out of 9. Neither team commits a lot of fouls. And Hill will drop in that one. Hill makes 67%. Coming to NC State from Bowling Green. And a 23-point game against Florida State in their overtime win. So he can explode.
Perfect fit for Kevin Keats, not only because of what he can do offensively, but also defensively, can heat up the basketball. Also brought a height listing of 6'4" with him from Bowling Green. And Coach Keats has a rule about you can't be shorter than you were at your previous school. However, he's about 6 feet, maybe 6'1".
3-point game under a minute here in Charlottesville. Last year they played 3 times, these two schools. 2 of them went overtime, including in the ACC tournament semifinal. Rhodey to his right, left it short, rebound tipped, and comes away to the pack. And they've got an opportunity to tie this up on a triple. 40 seconds to go.
For NC State, you don't need the 3. You take the best possible opportunity you can, even if it's driving to the rim, to get a 2. Still more than enough time.
Shot clock under 10. O'Connell dribbling away. Here's Taylor. Shot clock at 4. He will drive it. Slam on the brakes. He can't hit it. 15 seconds to go. And a whistle on the tie-up. 15.5.
A strong stand defensively by Virginia. Taylor got a very good look as he drives it to the rim and is able to create some separation between he and Tane Murray, but just unable to get the shot to go. But more importantly, Elijah Saunders coming up with a defensive rebound and an opportunity at the free throw line to make it a 2-possession game.
Now, NC State looked very confident at halftime. They were up by 10. They were shooting the lights out here in Charlottesville. Very different story in the second half. Saunders, who's been a big reason why he's at the line here at 82%.
Virginia played through him to start the second half. He got the basketball. It seemed to be on every trip down the floor as he calmly knocks down the first free throw to give Virginia a 4-point lead. Now, this one would be huge. A 5-point lead, of course, takes away the concern of a foul on a 3 in the latter seconds.
NC State, one more timeout remaining. Virginia with 2. Saunders calm at the line. And today with 22 points, that is a new career high. And a timeout. NC State, we're going to go away for 30. It's Virginia by 5 with 15 seconds to go. Wolfpack, 3 out of their last 11 beyond the 3-point line. 15.4 to go. So there's the breakdown, what we have remaining. Virginia has the 2 timeouts. NC State just used their final 1.
And when you consider right now for Virginia, you're not in a scenario where you even need to consider fouling. You want to make sure you can contest any 3, but back away. Do not allow yourself to give up a 4-point opportunity, because still more than enough time to be able to, if they make the 3, all you got to do is take care of business at the free throw line by being strong with the basketball.
Well, Marcus Hill is a good shooter. Michael O'Connell makes 41% beyond the 3-point line. And Breon Pass is their best 3-point guy. He's been well over 50% this season.
And I would expect to see Breon Pass on the floor, recognizing his ability to shoot the 3. You're probably going to see a very small lineup for NC State to be able to space the floor, and everyone on the court would be a threat from 3.
O'Connell there, number 12 in the foreground, will be forever remembered for that buzzer beater against Virginia in overtime, forced overtime in the ACC tournament semifinals. Lorenzo Charles' game-winning dunk in the '83 national championship is always going to be number 1.
I tell you what, those are the times that made you fall in love with basketball. OBC and Jimmy V running all over the floor looking for someone to hug.
Undoubtedly, Hill will drive it. He goes up for 2 with 10.9 remaining. 3-point game. Pressure again from the pack. And Murray's going to call a timeout, and they're down to 1 now.
And I like the decision by Kevin Keats to be able to take the easy 2 and still have time to try to force a turnover. Still, Virginia hanging on to a 3-point lead.
Well, again, twice last year they went overtime, these 2. And it seems like every time they play, it comes right down to the last shot or 2. Virginia trying to hang on and eke out the win at home. They lead by 3 with 10.9 seconds.
Well, Ron Sanchez got his wish. They got to 70. Now the question is, can they keep NC State under 70 is the concern. And right now, Brody taking the basketball out of bounds after the timeout. Understanding whether or not he can run along the baseline, being that it was never inbounded, he still can run.
He bounces for Murray. Murray tied up in the trap. Still trying to wriggle free. Down to 5 seconds left with 4.9 on the clock.
And I believe that's Huntley Hatfield, whose foot was on the sideline as he touched the basketball out of bounds, but executed perfectly by the Wolfpack to get the trap. Just couldn't get their hands on the basketball to come up to tie the basketball up and get possession back. The possession arrow is in their favor.
So Virginia an inbound here from the sideline. And Rhodey to put it in if he can. Over the top, he does get it in for Saunders. He'll draw the foul. 3.9 on the clock.
Now, this was a great trap by the Wolfpack, but as Huntley Hatfield goes to the ground, you see his leg out of bounds. Once he touches the basketball, it's now a dead basketball. Otherwise, if he's inbounds, now it's a tied possession, which the possession goes back to the Wolfpack and gives him an opportunity to try to get a 3 up and to end the regulation.
So huge shots for Saunders. By the way, they played 50 games in this series, decided by 5 points or less between NC State and Virginia.
And you go back, I mean, when you consider that we talked about that 83 run, they had to beat Virginia in the ACC tournament to be able to win that. So these two teams have had some absolute showdowns.
Missed it. Hill with the rebound. 2 seconds. Long heave that's going to be way short, and that's the ball game. Virginia wins it 70-67. They hold off the Wolfpack and pick up an ACC victory.
O'Connell had a little more time than I believe he thought on that possession. Had a couple of dribbles left to get a good look. But regardless, a great comeback effort by Virginia. Down 10 at halftime. End up getting their first ACC win of the season here on their home floor.
A nice way to get things started today with a new tip-off and exciting finish. And the Cavaliers win it 70-67. For Corey Alexander, I'm Dave O'Brien and our entire crew. Thanks so much. Happy New Year to you and yours. Right now, let's toss it to Randolph and Doug for more college basketball on ESPN2.